It's February 27th, 2025. Usually this is the time when I take a little break and relax, but there's a major pattern shift about to happen. We've already got enough confidence to start talking about it and giving people a heads up. We'll get into that in a second, but first, take a look at these temperatures today. It's going to be in the dang 70s here at the Weather House, and in many areas of Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, temperatures will be pushing plumb near 80 degrees Fahrenheit. We're having fun in the sun almost everywhere outside of the Great Lakes region and the Northeast. Across the country, temperatures are running anywhere from 10 to 30 degrees above average. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell. Your support makes me happy. So look at this. We're near 90 degrees Fahrenheit in parts of Texas. Tomorrow, high temperatures will climb into northern Montana, South Dakota, and much of Nebraska, reaching the 60s. Y'all, it's supposed to be in the 30s up here, upper 20s even, especially in Montana. This is some crazy, crazy warmth. We're also seeing it in the desert Southwest, where some areas will hit the mid-90s today and tomorrow. This pattern looks like it will stay in place through the rest of February until a big-time storm system moves in right at the beginning of March, which will bring a cool down for many of us, especially on the East Coast. However, this isn't an Arctic plunge or anything extreme. It's just a shift associated with our next big storm system. What's really interesting, though, is that as this big ridge builds over the west, bringing in warm air advection from the southwest, we start to see small cutoff lows. Check this out. One is set to move into the west coast this Saturday, right around California and Arizona. That little dip in the jet stream will still be there from Saturday into Sunday, allowing for some moisture to be pulled up from the Gulf. On Sunday, this could bring some storms and rain to Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana. However, with so much cold, dry air coming down from Canada, there won't be much room for moisture return from the Gulf, which means this likely won't be a major severe weather event. Still, I'm keeping an eye on it. But things get really interesting as we move further into the forecast. By Tuesday, March 4th, we see a full latitude trough developing across the U.S., or at least something very close to it. This is going to be the system that likely brings our next major storm. The meteorologists over at the Storm Prediction Center are already on the same page. They've issued a day 7 15% risk for severe weather stretching from Dallas to Memphis and Jackson near the Mississippi-Alabama border. This is a very high confidence situation. We're almost certain that a major severe weather outbreak is coming during this time period in this general area. As for the exact threats, timing, and details, we'll do our best to break that down today. But of course, we won't know the full picture until we get closer to the storm. This is unheard of, even for March, especially early March on an ensemble view. We've got a strong northward advection of warm, moist, and unstable air. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell. Your support makes me happy. So, by the way, if you haven't heard me talk about CAPE before, it's something we track a lot as we head into severe weather season. CAPE stands for Convective Available Potential Energy. Think of it as thunderstorm fuel. It usually stays down in the Gulf, but when it starts sneaking into the mainland U.S., we have to keep an eye on it. We're going to have quite a bit of it, especially in Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi on Tuesday. As this moves farther east, it becomes a little less intense, but we still see some CAPE up into Ohio on Wednesday. So I think we're looking at a significant severe weather situation on Tuesday, followed by a possibly less intense but continued severe weather threat on Wednesday. That's when a strong cold front will come through, pushing that warm, moist air out of the way. Another reason we're so confident about this storm system is that even on the ensemble models, we're seeing a very well-defined low-pressure center associated with the storm. This means we'll have a very efficient pull of moisture from the Gulf, as well as a significant temperature gradient. We'll see temperatures in the 70s and 80s in the warm sector, while behind the storm in the cold sector, temperatures will drop into the 20s and 40s. That will likely bring significant snowfall from the Rockies up into the northern plains. The deeper the low pressure system, the more concerning this storm becomes. If we end up with a 997 or 998 millibar low pressure center, or even lower, since this is an average, we'll have very strong surface winds feeding into the system along with stronger winds higher up. This creates wind shear, which could intensify tornado potential and strengthen the overall storm system. Now, looking at the deterministic GFS model, this isn't an averaging model and isn't typically what we rely on at this range, but I just want to show you the setup. We've got a highly active jet stream stretching across the country through the middle of March. These deep troughs sweeping across the nation will almost certainly trigger an extended period of widespread severe weather outbreaks, particularly from Texas through the southeast. Some areas in the Midwest and the Southeast, including Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, could also be affected. If you live in these regions, now is a great time to review your severe weather preparedness plan. Know what to do if you find yourself under a tornado warning, and most importantly, remember, don't be scared, be prepared. Recap. First, we're dealing with the big ridge and cooler temperatures in the east, while warm air continues to push in from the southwest. Then we've got a small clipper system that may bring a few rumbles of thunder from Ohio down into West Virginia on Thursday, along with some snow in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Ontario, and Quebec. There could also be some rain reaching as far south as the Carolinas. A more significant but fast-moving clipper arrives in the Great Lakes region on Friday, dropping a couple of inches of snow before fading out near the Atlantic Ocean off Maine's coast. By Sunday, March 2nd, we still have a large wave in the jet stream. This means cooler air in the east, warmer air in the west, and the potential for showers and storms in Oklahoma and Texas. Nebraska and Kansas might also see some snow showers that day. Finally, the major storm system arrives on Tuesday, March 4th. This could be a significant severe weather event and a major rain producer, potentially causing additional flooding concerns in the Mississippi and Ohio River valleys. Even if severe weather doesn't develop in the Ohio or Tennessee valleys, the overall pattern with this active jet stream means we'll see a lot of residual moisture from storms in the south. Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, and the Northeast are expected to get heavy rainfall over the next 2 weeks. With rivers still running high and saturated ground in place, flooding could become a concern. Nothing to panic about yet, but something to watch closely. Additionally, all of these systems will start as major rain events in the Pacific Northwest and along the West Coast. The Sierra Nevada and Cascade mountain ranges could see over 5 to 6 inches of rain in the next 2 weeks. That's all the weather talk I have for you today. Final thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, we're doing daily updates until this system is out of our hair. If for some reason the SPC, Storm Prediction Center, decides not to issue a day 6 15% severe weather outlook tomorrow, we may skip a day or two of updates, but right now we're pretty locked in on this storm system, as it looks like it will be our first major severe weather event of the year, especially in the higher elevation areas of the Northeast, such as upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. We're seeing cold air moving in. Along with it, we're likely to see some thunderstorms in this region, or at the very least, some heavy showers. The National Weather Service has issued a general thunderstorm risk for this area. While this is definitely not a severe weather outbreak, there is still a chance for some thunderstorm activity due to warm air racing up the east, clashing with an incoming cold front. That cold front will be swinging into the warm, humid air, which should be enough to trigger some thunderstorms throughout the day and evening. Looking ahead to Friday, we have another clipper system moving in. This one has a central pressure of 989 millibars over the Great Lakes, bringing heavy snowfall to much of Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and large portions of Canada. This system will be fairly fast moving, which is worth noting. As we extend into Saturday, March 1st, snowfall begins to spread across New York and New England, particularly overnight from the final day of February into the early morning of March 1st. Be on the lookout for accumulating snow in these areas. Snowfall will continue into the day, with the rain snow line setting up in a way that brings snow to interior Pennsylvania, upstate New York, northern New Hampshire, and most of Maine. So once again, don't be scared, be prepared. Make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and get ready. Share this with others to help spread the word.